Hey y'all, welcome back to Reel It In. I'm your host Reed Cox, and this is your go-to destination for self-improvement and creating the life you've always desired, all while keeping it real. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about that transition that some people either fear or look forward to, and it's the transition from your 20s into your 30s. If you're in your late 20s, mid 20s, early 20s, anywhere in your 20s, and you want to know a little bit more about what you can expect about that transition from your 20s into your 30s, this video is for you. And if you're also already in your 30s, we're going to be talking about how this decade is seriously going to be the best decade of your life. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Hit the like button, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're loving about your 30s or what you're not looking forward to about your 30s. Or if you're in your 20s, let me know your experience. So leave a comment. Now let's get into it. Okay, in this episode, I'm going to be totally honest and real with y'all about my experience from going from my 20s into my 30s. I'm going to be honest about the ups and downs of my Saturn return. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. We're going to get into it. And I'm also going to help y'all realize that some of the growing pains you're going to experience during this time are actually working in your favor, and you should welcome them. Because this transition in your life has the opportunity to be probably the biggest transition you've had yet. You're going through a portal. You're stepping into your new self. You're leaving behind everything from your 20s and you're stepping into your 30s as the full, authentic version of yourself that you've always dreamed of being. So you're in your late 20s, or you're going to be in your late 20s, or you were just in your late 20s, which means you are going through your Saturn return. So if you're into astrology, you already probably know what your Saturn return is. But if you're not into astrology, your Saturn return is basically, what is it, like a 1.5 to 2 year period at the end of your 20s. Everyone's varies a little bit, where it's kind of known to like kick your ass. Saturn returns are notoriously known as incredibly challenging times. However, it's not without reason. Saturn returns are there to shift you from the wrong path onto your right path. Saturn returns are there to help you get rid of anything that is holding you back so that you can leave it behind in your 20s and move into your 30s as the best version of yourself. My Saturn return was terrible. I mean, probably as bad as they come. However, when I look back on my Saturn return, I really do see how everything that happened was truly there to serve my highest good. Was it fun? No. Was it happy? Absolutely not. Was it painful? Yeah. However, when I look back, I feel like in my 20s, I was living for other people. And I really, really cared what other people thought about me, especially when it came to dating. Like when I was dating, like all I really cared about is that if the guy liked me, not if I liked the guy. I was riddled with an eating disorder all of my 20s. So I really had that like need to be perfect, like that perfectionistic mentality. Like if I was dating someone, I never complained. I just tried to go with the flow. I would like starve myself so I looked perfect. All I really cared about was impressing other people, which is no way to live life. So the things that happened to me in my Saturn return basically rocked my world just enough to where I stopped living for other people. I stopped caring what other people thought about me. I really had to prioritize myself and my own well-being and my own mental health, which led me to switch course and start taking care of myself and start taking actions in life that fed me and not other people first. When I was coming out of my Saturn return and learning all the lessons that I needed to learn, I started living for myself. So I currently at the time I had 2 roommates and I lived in an apartment in Silver Lake in Los Angeles. And instead I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I've always said I want my own apartment, but I always thought I needed like a boyfriend to move in with me to do that because I never thought I could afford the rent. And I was like, enough of this. So I got my own single girl apartment, 1 bedroom in West Hollywood. And it was so perfect. It was like right around the corner from the Grove, best location. One of the best things I've ever done for myself, but I took the leap. I got my own apartment, which really allowed me to spread my wings and take up space. And I'm just so glad I did that because, I mean, when my husband and I started dating, we were long distance, and that would have sucked doing long distance and having him come stay in an apartment with two other people. I actually probably bet he would have never come. I probably would have had to go see him every time. So once I learned the lessons of my Saturn return, I started taking actions that were going to get me the life that I said I wanted. So I wanted to be a big girl. I got my own apartment. I wanted a relationship. I knew it's just kind of harder to have a serious relationship when you have roommates, like you want some privacy. So I got my own apartment. I started traveling by myself. I stopped waiting for someone else to give me permission, and I started doing things on my own. And your Saturn return is really a dance with you and the universe. It's like throwing things at you and seeing if you're going to react as your old self or your new self. And once you start responding to the things that the universe is throwing at you as your new self, they're going to keep throwing you better things, and you're just going to keep leveling up until by the time you're entering your 30s, hopefully you're right on track and you're no longer hoping to be, but you're being the person that you've always dreamed of being. So if you're in your Saturn return or it's coming up, remember, you're going to be put in circumstances and situations that aren't going to be fun or pretty. They're probably going to be really challenging, but they're all for your highest good. So don't be afraid. Take everything in stride. And whenever in doubt, just ask yourself, how would my future self react to the situation? And a lot of the time, your Saturn return is just shedding all the things that hold you back, Like, I really had to let go of all my old ways of being during my Saturn return because I knew in the decade of my 30s, I was going to live such a big life that had no room for these old ways of being. I knew I couldn't take my eating disorder with me into my 30s. I knew I couldn't take my lack mentality with me into my 30s. I knew I had to stop living for other people. And here I am now, 33 years old. My life has changed so much. I mean, we'll get into that. But truly, all my life has completely made a 180 since I turned 30. And I'm 33 now. And in just 3 years, I have truly, look at me. Like, I'm married. I own a home. Everything's changed. So we're going to get to that. But your Saturn return, it should be something that you're not afraid of. And if you want me to do a bigger video on Saturn returns, let me know in the comments because I have a lot of thoughts on that. And maybe we could bring in like an astrologer to talk to us about it. So let me know in the comments. Okay, your 20s. So your 20s are kind of the time when you can F around a bit. You don't really have to know exactly what you want to do. In fact, I think it's great if you don't know exactly what you want to do. I knew I wanted to be an actor in my 20s, and that's all I really did. But it really kind of helped, kept me from branching out and trying new things. I would have never started this YouTube channel or started my blog or gotten my Pilates certification in my 20s because I was so hell-bent on being an actor, and that was it. And if I could go back, I wish I didn't have such tunnel vision. So if you're in your 20s and you have any interest at all, try it. Try all of them. Because once you get into your 30s, there is a certain level of not having health insurance isn't cute anymore. And not being able to pay your rent isn't cute anymore. And dating the wrong guys over and over again isn't cute anymore. You're in your 30s, you're not supposed to have it all figured out by any means, but in your 30s, there really is, it's not a pressure, but it's just kind of a certain level of reality hits and you're oh yeah, I need to get my shit together. So your 20s, you're still in your 20s, live it up. Travel. I wish I had traveled more. Do all the things, take all the risks, date whoever, but if you're in your mid-20s or you're getting into your late 20s, start to kind of form a vision of what you want the rest of your life to look like and make small steps to getting there. Because what you don't want to happen is you're going to turn 30 and not have any type of blueprint for the life that you want, have no idea what you're going to do next, and feel really overwhelmed. So we don't want that. But your 20s, have fun, take risks, try different careers. But just know, once you turn 30, there is a certain level of oh crap, I do have to get my shit together. So just know that that's going to happen. But hopefully, if you've tackled your Saturn return with ease, you will have leveled up so much to where you like who you are at this point. You feel like you kind of sort of have your shit together. I kind of have my shit together when I turned 30, but also kind of not. We were still kind of in COVID, at the tail end of COVID. I did have my own apartment by then, but and I was like doing financially well with acting, but also like I wasn't getting as many opportunities in acting as I'd had before COVID. And I wish I'd kind of started to branch out like I have now around then. But also by the time I turned 30, I was not messing around with dating. Like I had passed all the tests. I was like, I am dating to meet my husband and I'm not wasting any time with weirdos who are wasting my time. No, there's like no more casual anything. And if a situation isn't serving me, I'm out of there. So hopefully by the end of your 20s, you're there too. Okay, you've passed your Saturn return and you just turned 30. Eee! Okay, here are the things that y'all have to look forward to in your 30s. And these are from my opinion, from my friends' opinions, from what I've seen. So hopefully this can get y'all hyped up about your 30s. So it's nothing that you have to fear, but you're only gonna look forward to your 30s as the best decade of your life. Okay, first, in your 30s, your body image takes a 180. It totally changes for the better. Like I mentioned in my 20s, I had eating disorders and body image issues. I don't know what female hasn't had some weird body image issues at some point in time. However, when I entered my 30s, I kind of entered this mindset of like, this is my body and I look the way I look. Yeah, it's going to fluctuate, but no matter what, I'm always going to be hot. Like, even if I were to gain 100 pounds, I'm going to be hot because I'm amazing. Like, truly, I started to see my worth. Like, in my 20s, my worth was all about how I looked. But then in my 30s, I started to see how amazing I was on the inside, and I knew my worth and what I had to offer, that the outside, like, really didn't matter that much. You know, like, I took care of myself, I exercised, but the body image issues kind of just like fell away. And I think when you enter your 30s, you've relaxed more into yourself, you know who you are, you're not as confused about like your place in the world. And I think with that comes a level of security in our bodies and in ourselves that it's hard to come by in your 20s. So in your 30s, look forward to just feeling like you're the hottest chick in town. You look good, you feel good. Also, either you stop worrying about money so much or you start taking money seriously. It's either one or the other, and usually whatever one you get is the right medicine you need. So if you weren't really taking money seriously in your 20s, if you created debt, if you're an overspender, you're probably gonna get a rude awakening in your 30s, and that's all for the better. Like, you're gonna start taking money more seriously. And let's say in your 20s, you like in my 20s, I was super frugal. Let's say in your 20s, you were way too frugal or you were like penny pinching. If you take the steps to educate yourself on investing and how to handle your money, your 30s are gonna be a breeze. So usually in your 30s, so like for me, like I was super frugal in my 20s. Now I can afford to be a bit more expansive in my spending, and I have investments. I have a broader knowledge of wealth and my wealth and what I can do and what my goals are and what me and my husband's goals are financially. So your 30s really are a time when you get real with money. You start learning about investing. And when you learn about investing, I know how that can seem like kind of intimidating, but once you teach yourself how investments work, how the stock market works, I taught myself on Robinhood. It was a really easy way to learn how it all works. You really do gain a level of confidence that I wish everyone had, because it's important to know, like, even if you're not loaded with dough, it's important to know how money works, how the economy works. So your 30s is kind of the time where you have to kind of learn how that works, or else you're going to kind of be left behind. Next thing that's so great about your 30s, when you enter your 30s, you stop living for everybody else and you start living for yourself. I don't know about y'all, but in my 20s, I was just so concerned about what people thought about me, and I wanted everyone to like me, and I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I just cared about people liking me. And now that I'm in my 30s, like, okay, you don't like me? So what? Now that I'm in my 30s, I really do make decisions that are best for me and my husband. I'm not worried about what other people are thinking, and I'm not like tiptoeing around, not trying to piss people off. Like, I'm going to do what's best for me and my husband. Obviously, I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm going to take other people into account. But for instance, in my 20s, I was so hell-bent on being an actress. It was like, I'm going to be an actor or bust, and I'm not going to stop until I win an Academy Award. And now it's not so much as like, is everyone else approving of me to give me a job? I see my worth. So now it's like, how can I have the best experience on this earth in this lifetime? And what do I need to do to get there? It's not like wanting accolades so much anymore, which is really freeing. Okay. Also, when you enter your 30s, you stop really thinking with the mindset of how do I get from one day to the next, like you did in your 20s. And it's more so, how do I create the life I want to live for the rest of my life? You really start to plan a little bit more in your 30s. And I don't know if it's because, at least for females, we have a biological clock, and if you want kids, you have to think about that. Turning 30, I met my husband 6 months into my 30s. So I only had like 6 months of being 30 and being single still. And I will say I didn't get too worried about the having kids thing and meeting my person thing, because I'd already been single all my 20s. So it was like nothing was new, you know? But I do have a lot of friends in their 30s who are still single, and there is a certain level of needing to like pick up the pace and meet their person, having kids. So I think you start to kind of take your future more seriously. And if you do want a family and you do want kids and you do want marriage, you know, it's important to like not settle. I can't stress that enough. Do not settle with the wrong person. But you start dating in different ways. You start dating like seeing if the person's going to be like good husband material or wife material, and you stop just like dating for the fun of it, and you really just get clear about what you want and how you're going to get it, which is nice. There's a blueprint, at least at that point. You're not like all over the place seeing what's working and what's not. Okay. Also, in your 30s, you get a huge confidence boost. You start walking into rooms like you own the place. Like something about being 30, it just feels so fun and just so like rad, like kind of like rebellious. Like, I don't know. I mean, 30s, I truly think are your best decade. I'm having way more fun in my 30s than my 20s. And I think it's just because, like, I mean, yeah, like I think on paper, you might think, oh, I had more fun in my 20s based on like parties I was going to or living in LA or doing all these things. But the reality is, like, I'm having a great time in my 30s. And I think it's just because I've relaxed into myself. I know who I am. There's a bit more security now because I'm married. I kind of see the trajectory of our life a little bit more. Yes, there's going to be a lot of surprises along the way, which I like. But I think like knowing who you are and knowing the life that you want for yourself, and like also knowing what you've been through, allows you to carry yourself with so much more confidence, more so than you did in your 20s. Next, in your 30s, success is redefined. You stop looking at success as like this future thing in the future that you're striving for and you're working towards, like you kind of do in your 20s. And you start to realize, like, oh, I am living the life that I've been working so hard for. And you start to see success more so in the light of like, how happy am I? Like, now I judge my success by how happy I am, which has been such an amazing paradigm shift for how I live my life. Because you can be super successful and not happy at all and not enjoy any of it and be constantly striving for the next thing and never really even enjoy what you've created. So remember, ask yourself, how happy am I? Like, let's say you've gotten that big job promotion. Are you happy though? So in your 30s, you really start to focus more on how happy you are. Also in your 30s, you just really don't care what people think. I mean, you care, but you also just care way less. And you realize you already have so much on your plate and so many more responsibilities than you did in your 20s that you don't have the time to sit around and care what other people think of you. And you don't have time to like get caught up in drama or try to like change people's minds about you. Like, I don't know, like I know the people whose opinions I care about, my family and my really close friends. And like, that's pretty much it. Like, if you're an acquaintance and I don't know, like, I think lots of times, one thing I realized, well, like girls are still like catty and mean girly in their 30s and jealous. That's like still definitely a thing. I'm not a mom yet, but I hear that like sometimes like moms are weird too. Like there's still like the mean girl mom thing happening, which I think is weird. But yeah, you really just don't care when people are being weird towards you or don't like you or making fun of you. Next, if you are still single, in your 30s, you stop dating the wrong people. And if you've been dating the wrong people your whole life, I get it. You're like, well, how do I start dating the right people? You just do. It just happens. You just get fed up. Like, I was single all my 20s dating the wrong guys. And then in my 30s, like, every guy I dated, they all got better and closer to my husband. I had a friend tell me once, she's amazing, Marjorie. She's a bit older than me. She was like, in dating, every guy you date, they always get better and better. And it's really true. So as long as you're dating and the level of person you're dating just keeps getting better and better, and you keep having better and better experiences, you're gonna find your person eventually. You just stop wasting your time dating people that aren't for you and that waste your time. You just really get clear on what you want. And also your time becomes more valuable, you know? So if you're still single and you're in your 30s, don't freak out. Please don't freak out. Like, I know what it's like to be the only single one. I know what it's like to feel like you're behind. Trust me, you are not behind. Everyone has their own journey. And if you keep putting yourself out there, keep being honest and authentic and showing up as your bright, beautiful self, I promise you, you are going to meet your person. So that is what you can expect when entering into your 30s. Y'all, it honestly is such a fun decade. You just feel so much better and so much more whole if you've been doing the work on yourself. It all sets in, and I really can't rave enough about your 30s. If you're in your Saturn return, don't worry, it'll be done soon. You get to look forward to being hot and sexy in your 30s, and it just really is a great time. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new so you never miss a future episode. Leave me a comment and a like. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see y'all next time.